Hey yo, what's up everybody? Today we're talking about this game, Etheria Restart. I've been playing it for a bit over a week now at the time of making this video, and I went from hating this game to loving. Okay, that's too strong of a statement. Let's just say I went from hating this game to not hating this game. And back when I was feeling some kind of way about it, I checked in with about 200 of y'all to see if y'all were feeling what I was feeling. And I found most of y'all either felt the same way I did or just haven't even played it yet. So if you haven't played it yet, should you pick it up? And if you already have, is it worth a second chance? Well, hopefully you know by the time we conclude this video. So what type of game is it? Etheria Restart is a turn-based RPG game. So if you like strategically planning out your moves, if you like chaining together crazy combinations of buffs and debuffs and outsmarting your opponents one turn at a time, this might be the game for you. Although I gotta say, all of this comes with its fair share of frustrations and downsides as well. There are a number of things I found myself not liking, but enough charm points to keep me playing. I've already logged so many hours in just this short amount of time. Oh my God, I can't stop playing. I don't know, maybe I just like to torture myself, or even worse, maybe I'm lying to myself. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started with this review and get into what I don't like first, and then we'll dive into the good stuff afterwards. First on the list, what I don't like is the aesthetics. I mean, this game has no contrast, minimal shading, lack of secondary lighting, non-existent texture mapping. This game has all the texture of a Dollar Tree Fisher-Price playset. I mean, all the graphics just look dull and plasticky. Not only does it lack shadows, but nothing has any shine either. The graphics look dusty, like a toy from the bottom of a cereal box. This really affected my first impression of the game, and with games in this niche looking better and better, it really makes this game look dated and outclassed. There are many different styles of visuals, but the important part is to play into the strengths of whatever visual style you chose. So whether it's hyper-realistic, low-poly, anime style, 2D pixel, or any combination, as a developer and a designer of a game, it's your job to make that style look good. Numerous background and side characters don't even have a face, and I really don't think there's an excuse for that. They intentionally deliberated and decided on this discontenting display of visual appeal. Why? The next point I want to bring up is story. So I explained this is a turn-based game, and I grew up on turn-based games. The Final Fantasy series, the Tales series, Chrono Trigger, Golden Sun, Legend of Legaia, and the list goes on. In addition to their visual appeal, story is a large part of why people like them. But here, I feel like the visuals are so bad that it also corrupted my perception of the story. But beyond that, even focusing just on the story, the presentation really isn't that enjoyable and the storytelling really isn't that fun. In fact, I found more enjoyment out of this game by skipping the story, which is something that I don't really do. But after doing that, my appreciation for the game and ability to just enjoy the game went up tremendously. So if you're having trouble enjoying this game, I really hate to say it, but you might just want to skip the story. Another thing that's discontenting, and this just might be me, but I find it incredibly enraging when you can't do anything in PvP matches. You're just playing and you don't get a turn. In PvP, sometimes I swear people are using hacks. At the time of making this video, I was planning to show off a clip where an enemy team was invincible for like 7 or 8 turns. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's due to them getting banned or something happened, but I'm now unable to show the replay of that match. So you just have to trust me. Maybe there are people using hacks. I don't know. But I do know that I read the description of the moves. There's no way someone should be invincible for that long. And hopefully they are actively banning and weeding out bad actors when it comes to PvP, because not doing so can really ruin the experience. Another discontenting thing in this game is material scarcity. Now, material scarcity is no stranger to games like this in this particular genre. However, with the huge array of characters that exist, it compacts this problem even more. The number of characters I haven't even counted, but there's way too many to have this little amount of resources. And getting away from things that I don't like, but still in this same category, I want to talk about some things that I'm not sure if I should be concerned with yet, or if everything will turn out okay. One of those concerns goes back to progression. Progression seems to hinge on events and achievements, and on the surface level, that seems great. If you participate in events, and if you're dedicated enough to unlock achievements, you are richly rewarded for doing so. However, what worries me is that there are only a finite number of achievements that you can do at one time. What happens when you run through all the achievements and events? One more concern I'm adding to the list is nerfs. This only came to my attention just as I was prepping for this video, but I don't know quite how to feel about it. In a game where resources are scarce and you have to wait for events to build some characters, should you really have to worry about a character you spent the time to build suddenly becoming less useful? Now, this game has marketed itself as a PvP game, and while buffs and nerfs can usually be expected in games that emphasize those types of game modes, it's something that isn't typically received favorably in gacha games. And that's mainly because in these types of games, players purchase characters. Imagine purchasing a character that you think is amazing, only to find out that due to nerfs, he's now trash 1 week later. With that said, let's move on to some of the things that I actually like about this game. By the way, if you haven't already, please don't forget to like and share. It really does help me to continue making awesome videos just like this one. So, as I said before, this game has tons of characters, and the excitement of obtaining those characters is very electrifying. It's super fun just to pull, and they give you tons of pulls to do so. And just when you think you have a character, sometimes you can even unlock an alternate version of that character. Another exciting thing about this game is the ease of attainment. I mean, there's pulls everywhere. And not only are there pulls everywhere, there's no 50-50 on any of the banners. And even the standard banner is worth pulling on because new characters regularly get added to this banner as well. Another thing I enjoy is the upbeat music, especially in the event pages. It just sounds very nice and enjoyable. Another thing that just hooks me in and draws me to this game is the progression of each character. Now, I talked about that as a negative point, but it also just is fun fine-tuning the characters, figuring out which ones go together, what set should you use, what shell should you use, exactly how to put things together. This is peak hobbyist behavior. RPGs are no stranger to hobbyist behavior when it comes to min-maxing your characters, but I feel like this game takes it to another level. All in all, while I have been addicted to this game for the past week, and it is fun, I think it has its fair share of issues. And I feel like I mentioned more negative things than positive, but if you haven't played it, I think it's still worth a look. So give it a try. And if you're just not feeling the story like me, don't be afraid to skip it. And if you have tried this game, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Anyways, that is all I have for you guys today. And until next time, I'll catch you in the waves. Peace.